Hello, everybody, and welcome to From This Point Forward, a Buffalo Sabres podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the Mitch Marner debate, how to fix the NHL. We're going to do a Sabres Drought Draft Part 1, all that and more on From This Point Forward. Let's go.
Acknowledge the fact that in one of your favorite movies of all time, you thought the slogan was "Ducks quack forever" instead of "Ducks fly together."
No,
it's
you also
bad.
think they live in wells. It's the whole theme of the movie, Lou. But he had the duck call.
They go quack.
It would be Malcolm Subban, mostly because that one season where instead of letting him play for the Sabres for the last game of the year, they had him sing the national anthem. And it was a real, like, you're under contract, the season is over. We know you've only gotten to be up here a couple of times. How about you come back up here? Oh, great, I'll put my pads in the car. No. You won't need them. Just make sure you warm up the pipes when you're driving down the 90.
Mitch Marner.
You heard it, Mitch. If you want to sign here, you can drill Ryan's mom.
You know, that opens a catch-22 is that unlike most things in my life, I didn't make it about me. The you guys have the good, the good but then all you hear is my laugh. So it's it doesn't mean I didn't mean to make it about me, but it's still somehow the most annoying part of it is me. So yeah, that's how that's going. Chris,
Lou,
you had something to say. How you doing today?
No, I'm just gonna let you just keep spinning, Lou. That's the whole episode. It's all for you, Louie. It's all for you.
It's as Sister Hazel would say. Rye, how are you today?
Well, I'm doing better than Justin Bieber and Haley Bieber. I'm not. Listen, I'm not like a Leaf hater. I'm not like, I also wasn't like the other way where I was like rooting for them, but I can feel for them. I mean, that's crazy amount of playoff exits. So, definitely can feel for their fans because they actually care about hockey. And I like fans of teams that care about hockey.
I was rooting for them strong, obviously, to keep my perfection alive. I had all three series, even in this round, good. And then finally, Toronto screwed me, and the perfection of my predictions throughout the playoffs are finally done. But to your point, like, I was rooting for him because I wanted a Toronto-Edmonton final. I just thought that would be the best for the sport. I thought it would be great to watch Matthews, McDavid, and just both teams that, have been so long, especially Toronto. And then it would have assured Canada a cup. Like, would have been pretty cool to see. But we're like one Vegas, Vegas beats Edmonton. We're like in 400-degree. Like everyone's hot. There's no ice anywhere in these other three places. But what were your major takeaways, Chris, from the last round?
Overall, my flip-flopping continued. The only thing I stuck to my guns on was that the Leafs were going to blow it, and they did. And much like both of you, I don't want to say rooting for them in this round, but like the novelty of them having heartbreaking ejections is over for me. And I kind of just want them to be okay. I mean, it got ugly. Like they were throwing beers at the Maple Leafs bench. They were throwing jerseys on the ice. Like, they weren't even messing with the Panthers. They were messing with their own team. Like, that's tough.
Well, I think the NHL is probably very unhappy about the result of that game. I mean, I understand the storyline. I mean, Florida's a fun team to watch for the true hardcore hockey fans, but for market wise, I mean, they had to be rooting for like a Toronto Dallas final, right? Because then you'd have a U.S. market and a big time Canadian market. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the next series goes. But yeah, I'm really I couldn't agree with you more, Chris. I think putting it the way when you say the novelty has kind of wore off. That's how I feel. I mean, it was funny the first couple times, but now it's like, man, I can't believe a team as talented as they are cannot find a way to get to the next level. So maybe that does cause there to be some big shakeup moves. I mean, I doubt it, but I mean, you never know. Maybe that's a move, a core shakeup piece.
They've never been able to. I mean, they've never invested in the blue line or goaltending really here through this team, and they can't because the money's so tight. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Marner here in a second. Tavares is a free agent. Like, Nyes is restricted. It's going to be a really interesting offseason for him. And then, if they do lose one or two of these guys, will they finally be smart and kind of put the money on the back end of the ice? We'll see. Any other takeaways here from the other series, Chris? Before we get into the Marner thing.
Also, I slept on them in both rounds of the playoffs. The Hurricanes have impressed me through both rounds. I guess I just didn't expect them to keep the transition game the way, playoff hockey tightens up, more bodies get thrown around, and they're a team that lives and dies on those odd man rush turnovers. And they have been, any kind of game they've had to play, they have been able to do it. And I think that Florida-Carolina series is going to be a good one.
I think it's pretty obvious that Carolina is a well-run organization, right? So I'm trying to follow kind of some of the moves they've made. So think about the move to get Rantanen, right? I mean, you could look at ultimately how it worked out for them because he wasn't going to sign that extension there, but it was a smart move to bring him in. I mean, the guy spent absolutely money in the playoffs. He had a great finish to the season. They turn around and flip him for, what is it, Stankoven plus a first. So they're still stocked and going forward. So yeah, they could be a fun team for years to come. But I feel like the excitement of it has kind of taken a hit for me for a little bit with Toronto going down. And I mean, for me now it's Edmonton. I'm always interested in the McDavid, future saver Connor McDavid storyline. So we do really need him to get bounced ASAP. So come on, Dallas, do us a favor. You beat us in '99. You can also do us a solid right now and send us Connor McDavid after you send him home. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. It's going to be. I guess right now, if you had to ask me which series I'm more excited for, I think I'm saying the West because Dallas Edmonton to me is pretty juicy.
I think those are my two. I think they're my two favorite teams. The two teams that I would like to win the most. I honestly think Carolina is playing the best hockey right now, and they're just playing. I mean, they really. They shut down Washington. Like they have a defensive system that is just unreal. Slavin had 9 blocks in like the second period the other day. Like it was the second period. I tweeted it. The dude's got 9 fucking blocks. There was a couple minutes left in the second. I think he may have ended up with 9, or I don't think he got another 1 or 2. But like that was insane. They're playing really good hockey. It took a hit to me. I wanted that Toronto and Edmonton dream to stay on. and I agree with you, Ryan. I'm like kind of rooting for Edmonton a little bit. I just want the best one. I want Canada to get theirs. I want the best player in the game to get his first cup, like before he comes to Buffalo and wins it here. I mean, we'll all get in on the bit, Ryan.
Join in. Let's go. We need more people on this bandwagon.
We'll do quick because we Chris is the flip flopper here. Obviously I can't take Florida because I didn't have Florida in the last round, so I will take Carolina and Edmonton. Chris,
out of the West, I'm gonna call Edmonton. Out of the East, I'm gonna call Carolina, and I'm just gonna tell you real quick. I flip flopped again because I did a little further research. Carolina's winning the cup because every team has at least one ex-Sabre this year, and Carolina has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Drought era Sabres who are going to get their name on Lord Stanley's Cup this year.
Yeah. But Edmonton's got 1 or 2. Kane and Skinner. Dallas has got Lyubushkin, right? And hold on, Florida's Reinhardt, obviously. So no matter what, we got some more Drought favors. But yes, Carolina adds them. Carolina has the most.
Has too many.
Too many. Rye, predictions for this round?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my prediction of Edmonton, and I have Washington going all the way. So I guess if I follow that same logic, I should go with the Hurricanes. And I mean, I don't know, something about Florida tells me that they could, very easily get back again. A rematch would be something. So I'm going to go a rematch, Florida, Edmonton.
I didn't even think about that. Rematch would be kind of fun. I think that's what I'm pulling for now. And that's not my prediction, but I think I'm pulling for the rematch. I think that would be cool. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the Marner debate. It's fun today, especially after it blows up again, to talk about the 1% chance that there is that he would come. I think there's a 0.5% chance that we would ever offer him a max contract, but then even then would be a 1% chance that he would take it. Let's just play Dreamland. Would you give Mitch Marner max contract, max years, max salary to come to Buffalo next year? Start with you, Chris.
Yeah. we've been talking about it for a month. Yeah. Like I just not the only thing they need to do by any means, but it would signify to other players in the league, it would signify to the players in the locker room, it would signify to all of us who piss and moan all the time that they are taking things seriously.
Right.
I really wish I could have pulled up in the last couple of moments here a list of the free agent signings that the Sabres have had in recent memories. All right. I mean, it is beyond pathetic. All right. And by God, we've been sitting here for 14 years watching this horrendous hockey team show no signs of life. Just give me something, give me a splash signing. Give him an ownership interest in the Bills for all I care. Whatever you need to do to get this done, get him in the building and get him here. And I don't care if it ends up producing more wins on the hockey team. I just want to be able to look at my hockey team and be like, wow, I have Tage Thompson, Mitch Marner, and who cares? Alex Tuck, or fill somebody in the next couple of years. Benson, fine. No, don't shift him to wing. Whatever, doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, yes, I want him here. It's a no-brainer move. If you can convince him to sign here, pay him whatever he wants. Yeah, sure, just do it. This is like an easy decision. This is not like one of those, free agent signings where you're immediately wincing and like, this is going to be horrible for no. I mean, you're going to get, I think, 3 to 4 really solid years, and then the rest you never can guarantee anything more than that. So go for it.
To your point, I mean, someone's going to give him a max contract, right? So if he came here, that means he picked here, which would be kind of cool. I mean, zero. I could list so many things that have a better chance of happening than any of this. But I do want to stick up for like whether or not he's worth it, because I do think it's bullshit that people really he seems to be the scapegoat on this Toronto team with the failures. I mean, the guy has 63 points in 70 playoff games. That's 73rd all time points per game in the playoffs. Like, people act like he disappears and doesn't show up. I mean, that's still great numbers. I get that he's not built as the player that you want in the playoffs, that's going into corners and hitting everybody and all that. And I think that is part of why Toronto fans have turned on him. But it's like Austin Matthews doing that. Like, Austin, I don't know what those numbers are, and I'm just talking, but there's no way Matthews has scored at that level in his playoff career. Like, he really has struggled offensively in his playoff career. So I don't know. I would love to have him. I don't think it happens. I'll say this. I'll throw this out there. I think John Tavares is more likely than Mitch Marner. Maybe it's his uncle that's got me saying that, but I think his age. I think the only thing that that turns me away from that would be the fact that he probably wants to win. He's at the last stages of his career, hasn't won one. And I wouldn't think that he would think coming here would help him in that cause, but I think that's a little bit more realistic. But
well, yeah, I've always said that John Tavares is the Mario Williams of the NHL. So I feel like he maybe he's going for just the big contract. Yeah, let's get him. Sure. Actually, here we go. Let's get both Tavares and Marner, and we'll be Toronto South. What is that? Basically, Mississauga. We'll be the Buffalo Mississauga.
Yeah, we got to do something. Wait a second. You got to hit, because you got to think that with this tariff situation, all that, like, we're gonna lose some Canadian fans next year. Now you're really talking. Like, let's go get all the Leafs. It's gonna end up being like a Holmberg and Jake McCabe is going to come back. It's not going to be those two guys, but still, we'll bring them back. We'll bring some of the fans with us. Yeah, I thought it was crazy. I don't want to like shit on anybody specifically, especially some people that are friends with our friends, but like a guy that covers the team for a local station was on the radio today saying that he wouldn't bring in Marner, which is insane, and then said that we need to bring somebody in to push Benson into Rochester. Like, what are we? What
I saw that.
What are we talking about? Like, I want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt that he just maybe said the wrong name. But if you're watching Zach Benson's last 30 games and you think that dude needs to be pushed to Rochester next year on a fucking team that's lost 14 years, he was one of our best players down the stretch. It was insane. I don't want to go off of that tangent, but to not want 100-point player when you haven't made the playoffs in 14 fucking years, there's just no way to justify it.
I think there is a way to justify it. In his defense, we are way closer to winning a Calder Cup than we are Stanley Cup. So let's just load up Rochester, win one of those, and then in a couple of years we'll be ready to win the Stanley Cup. We got to win that first.
Maybe that's what he meant. Maybe that's what he meant.
Then they'll know how to win.
Speaking of ways to fix things, we have this is a fun idea I wanted to do, or Ryan actually was the one suggested. This is a fun idea. Let's do some things. Let's talk about how we would fix today's NHL. And before I ask one of you guys for your first one, and if you do have more than one, let me know. We'll kind of go around the horn here. But I want to say, just by presenting this, I think the sport is in one of the best spots it's been in a really long time, as far as skill level and just overall enjoyment. But we could always improve, right? And that's why we're here. We're here to show the NHL things that they could do to prove. So, Ryan, since it was your idea, I'll give you the number one here. What's the number one thing the NHL can do to make the game better?
All right. The easy answer is the offside and challenges, okay, and reworking or revamping or eliminating altogether that system. But I'm not going to go there because I mean that's argument. It is what it is. I've heard it. I understand both sides of it. The get it right crowd, so to speak. My choice for the number one would be to enforce the post lockout 2000 and I'm a little biased, okay, but like when the Sabres were really good last, I want to make the game look like that again. That's what I'm stumping for here. No, but just like the clutching and grabbing, right? The entries into the zone. You remember when anytime you used to try and impede the progress of a forechecker into the zone, they would call it. You can't like get in his way. You can't get your arm in him and stop him. And now they just let all that shit go. And to be honest with you, I think it's way more fun to have games where you're calling that stuff and you're stay off of it. You can't do that. If you have the puck, you can hit somebody. It's clear. But if you don't have the puck, you can't cut him off. You can't bump him. Call it as interference, like it should be. And I know it's such a simple fix, but I honestly think that it would like by fivefold improve the quality of the games and let the skill really dictate even more.
And there really was only, I don't even want to give a full year of that. There was maybe like a 6 month span, where not even less than that, till like playoff time that came to. But that 1 year when they started that and they were calling obstruction a lot, this is the play that you're talking about, and I'm sure you are, and it really would make a huge difference, especially with how skilled and fast the game is today. Is just that little, it's the play along the boards where you chip it in, and you're going after to go get the puck, and it's just that little, I'm getting in front of you here at the blue line, that impedes the player, and that 20 years ago was obstruction when they wanted to call it for that few months. So I 100% agree with you.
Just last point, and then I'll shut up.
Yeah.
But and now it's even more of a you can even enforce it easier now because there are more protections to protect the player that's going into the zone from getting hit from behind. That's not going to happen as much anymore, right? So if the defenseman has to basically just go back and just like make a beeline for the puck, I want to see that. I want to see enough with the just cutting people off. I think it would be so much more entertaining.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Chris, what's your number one?
That's so my that was such a great and simple one, and my first one is okay. We need
I got one of these too, so I'm glad.
We need to tighten up this season a little bit. I hate the schedule in the NHL. I hate that every team plays every team like 2 times at least. I want old school. I want rivalries in division, small divisions, lots of games against the same opponent. I'm talking like 4-team divisions. You play in division 8 times each of those teams, and that is a third of your schedule. I'm trying to whittle this thing down to like 68 to 72 games. You play 1 to 2 Western Conference, almost like they do the NFL schedule, where it's like you play one division out west and you cycle through those every year, and you double up on one of the divisions in your conference. But rivalries mean nothing. They still run a rivalry week on NHL Network with teams that play 2 times a year. What are we doing here? I want blood on the ice.
Yeah.
I want teams that hate each other And then when we get to playoff times, you really see it come out. I want to tighten up the schedule just a little bit and make more divisional games mean more.
Love it.
I love that point, and I'll just say that I had kind of something else that tied into it, but maybe I'll have it as one of mine here later. But I have listed here, get down to 64 games. The season's too long.
Yes.
Make the games mean more, less competition against the NFL, start the season a little bit later, so you're not competing against the NFL and that money. I know it's all about money, so you won't, you'll never get them to agree to that. And attendance was up this year. It's the best year that I think they've ever had in attendance. So I get that they're not worried about that, but I mean, for player safety, for just the fans, for the exhaust, it's like baseball, 162. I get it's a lot, but it's too much. I would love to watch a smaller schedule, and you even made that next point even good, like intensifies those rivalries. All right, I am going off the board here. And I have a lot of things on my list that are like realistic, small little changes, things that would have been, whatever, fun. But let's get fucking crazy here. Let's make a rule. Hear me out, because it would be so great. Where only 4 players could go into the defensive zone. So you're basically, when you're in your defensive zone, you have 5-on-5 throughout the neutral zone. When you get in your own defensive zone, that last player has to stay out. So it's a little bit of a power play within, but then you also have that one cherry picker outside, so the defensemen have to be aware of that. I love it. Absolutely love it. Scoring would go through the roof. You'd have a lot more breakaways because that cherry picker outside the thing. I haven't thought of anything bad about it. You guys probably have some bad thoughts about it, but if you do, shut up and keep them to yourself, because I'm going right to Bettman with this, and I can't believe they haven't thought about it yet. But man, that would be a great, right?
I love that you want the NHL to be more like you playing hockey when you were 12 years old. Just parked on the opposite blue line. Well, I'm not good at defense anyways.
It wasn't because I just couldn't get back there. It was just I wasn't good enough to get back. It wasn't It wasn't trying to cherry pick. It was just a lot of work. All right. Any other? I got a few.
Lou's like, guys, hear me out. Let's cater to lazy players.
It's not just lazy players. It's a kind of a built-in power play on every play, right?
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of power play, I guess I'll throw another one in the ring here. I never totally understood why you get the benefit when you're on the penalty kill, right? You committed an offense, but now you get to break the rules. You get to ice the puck. I mean, why? Why do you get to do that? You should have to flip it up in the air and land it in their zone without it going all the way down. More opportunities on the power play. Come on, why not? Why do you get to now ice the puck because you committed an offense? Is that how life works? You get a break, so you get to if you commit a crime, you get to just steal from a drive-through. I mean, I don't. It doesn't make any sense. Right?
I like how you got to steal through drive. Like I like how you got to a drive-through there. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know either.
I'm starting to sweat a little bit there. I was like, you get to commit a crime, come to this country, do whatever you want. Whoa.
That's great. Chris, your next suggestion to make the league better.
Okay, my next one. This is another out there idea, I guess. But we keep the trapezoid behind the net. However, right behind the net, blue paint. outside of that, keep it white. The goalie doesn't get a penalty if he plays outside of the trapezoid. However, he can get bumped. He's fair game. He can go behind the net, stop it, pass it around. They have to keep clear of him. But if he wants to pull that Brodeur stroll into the corner and try to play it, somebody can take a run.
I love it. I've always kind of, to me, it's anytime out of the crease, even behind the net. Like, I want him to be fair game all the time. But I know it's about player safety at this point. But like, how much fun would it be if they could just fucking guys like Max Domi just fucking plowing through the goalie behind the net? Like, oh, I'd love it. All right. My next one would be get rid of 6 teams and then snake draft the rosters of those 6 teams, because there's too many teams, too many bad markets. Get rid of the San Jose's, the Anaheims. I don't know the other 4 that I would get rid of. It's hard to shit on Carolina because they are a pretty decent fan base, but get rid of the shittiest markets. Then take the records from the previous 3 years, which for us, it would help us out. I think we'd be towards the bottom, obviously. And then snake draft all those rosters to go on to the other rosters. It would be so much fun. It would make the league better. It would be less diluted, the talent pool, and then maybe make the AHL into now a watchable league because there will be more talent down there. Absolutely love that idea. Less teams. Better chance for the Sabres to make the playoffs. I'm just trying to help us here.
Less teams, more playoff spots.
All right, less teams, 2 more playoff spots. All right, fire round. If you have any more on your list, go through them all, Ryan. Do you have any?
No, that was it. Nothing? That was it.
Chris, anything on your list? Go through anything that you have.
That was just fun stuff.
Okay. I got a couple more things. I got the 3-2-1 system. I know I'm taking this. Yeah. This is Jeremy White's biggest argument. I'll take it from him. But it is. It would just it's a better. It is a better way to keep the standings. It will make the end of the games better. It will make people play for the win in regulation more often. I don't get why they haven't got there yet. Bring back the organist. Stop all the bullshit on the jumbotrons, the piped in music. Just organist. That's it. That's all you should have when you go to a hockey game. Bring that back. It will make the environment better. And then last, fire Gary Bettman. I think that's the best way, the easiest way to make the NHL better is to fire Gary Bettman tomorrow. I think he's by far the worst commissioner in sports. And I have one late addition. I just remembered. So I recently played in a roller hockey game, and I'm a goalie. Okay, and I just found out this rule. I played hockey for most of my life. I had no idea, legitimately, that goalies cannot play the puck beyond the red line. Beyond, did you guys know that? Beyond center ice? I did know that they could not. Yeah, it's a penalty as soon as they get over the red line. I don't know what the rule is.
What are we worried about? Is the goalie going to go in and suddenly have a sick shootout move or a breakaway move? I mean, that would be awesome. Why are we trying to prevent that?
Let's make this even better. Let's do once a period. Your goalie has to go past the red line with the puck. How about that? Let's really push this shit.
Much better. And what if instead of deciding a game in a shootout, it's just goalies go out there. It's just 1-on-1 goalies against each other to get it's an empty net. Otherwise, you just have to. What about that? Is that good?
That's not horrible, but I would rather watch it, and I would almost rather watch this in the playoffs, is just them shooting from behind their own goal line into an empty net. That's it. But just back and forth. Just until there's a win.
Tongue.
Would you imagine hanging on that? It's just like a goalie just flipping the puck around, and the whole arena is just like, Oh, it just goes by the goalpost. Oh man, that is a good idea. But I think we accomplished some really good plans here. I think we know how to make the NHL better. All right. Over the next 2 episodes, we're going to do this super cool thing. We are going to draft, all 3 of us, our favorite, or not favorite, whatever, best teams that we could draft from the Drought. I don't want to call any of these guys my favorite. Only stipulations is they could not have played on any of the playoff teams. So if they played during the Drought, but they had played a playoff game for us, they are not eligible for this. So we are going to draft a full team over 2 episodes. We'll do the first 10 rounds today, and we'll do the last 10 rounds next week. So 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, 2 goalies for each team. And let's get rolling with the first pick. Is Chris Plumer. I'm number 2, and then you're a 3, and we'll snake it all the way through. So first pick, first round. I'm going to write these down so I don't have to go back and listen to this shit again. Chris, who is the all-time – who's your number 1 Sabres Drought player?
Man.
This could be 3 different guys, I think.
I
think
you know what? I'm a defensive-minded guy. I'm keeping Dahlin as my number 1.
That doesn't shock me at all. I think that's a good pick. And well, you justify it any way you want to justify it. I won't justify it for you.
I mean,
you're like,
as far as talent goes, for the last 14 years, I mean, he's a number 1 overall pick who has displayed number 1 overall qualities in the league. And this is very depressing draft.
I think the drop off. Yeah, I think the drop off defensively is a lot more than the forward ranks. We've had 12 to 15 pretty good forwards in this 14 years, to where after Dahlin, like who's the second best defense, So 100% would have probably been my number 1 too. Good pick. I'm gonna go Tage Thompson here, and I know who, we all know who Ryan's gonna get, and I'm not doing that out of spite. I'm really not. I'm not doing that because I just think overall he is the better player. I'm doing a little bit out of spite. I'm sitting here as I'm trying to justify. I'm like, no, I kind of just like him more as a person. I think he's, the last whatever. You take the last 3 years, he scored more goals than him. I don't think he's as good of a 2-way player as Eichel is. But at the end of the day, I love the fact that we have one of the hardest shots in the league. The guy's tearing up the USA Worlds against some of the best players in the world. I'm going Tage Thompson here, and I'm confident about it. Go ahead, Ryan. Take that, loser.
You are going Tage. I wasn't going to let you, try to change your pick at the very last second after talking about Tage Thompson. You already locked it in. Okay. After Chris going defenseman, I think I'm very much treating this like a 0 RB build here. I am going to basically ignore defensemen. I can't. I mean, I agree with you. Who cares now? Who cares what's going on in the back end? I am just going to load up on forwards, and I'm going to start with the player who I think is the most talented player we've had on the team in the Drought, and that's Jack Eichel. Listen, when the feelings kind of wore off over time, I think it became obvious that he was probably the one that was in the right and wanting to get his surgery, and the Sabres were the ones in the wrong. So, damn it, he got us. He got us. We let him go. But then might as well take his wingman with the next pick, and I think I'm going to go Sam Reinhart. I mean, listen, you got to balance out evil with some good. And, who doesn't love, other than one reporter that we may have talked about earlier, other than that guy, who doesn't love Sam Reinhart?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's right. Man, I am going. I think that was the obvious top four. I think now it can go either way. I don't love building down the middle here with the first two picks, but I'm gonna go Ryan O'Reilly here. And I know he lost his love for the game here, but he found it after, and I'm gonna believe that we could have had this guy some one day. He was a great player here, great leader. It ruined Tim Hortons, but besides that, what a,
Who hasn't ruined it, Tim Hortons?
besides, I mean, I really like O'Reilly. And again, we wouldn't have had Tage without him, right? Without the trade that everybody hated. But so to have the two players from the most noted trade of the drought on both ends of it, yeah, I'm pretty strong down the middle. I'll take that.
I like it. Not gonna lie, that's who I was going to take next. If you hadn't. So now, just gotta vamp for a second. I mean, this is where it gets tough because now we're at firm B to B minus players. I feel
already second round, and we're like, shit, the good ones are gone. It's sad. It really is.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough also because some of these guys, like, okay, I'm just gonna do this because I like the guy, even though he's kind of fallen off. Give me Casey Middlestat as my 1C.
Whoa.
Mitts. Stinky Mitts.
I know that he had 2 good months after he left here and is now wallowing in mental Buffalo Sabresdom. But I like him. Whatever. Remember the World Juniors in Buffalo? It was a magical time.
Yes. I think a lot of people do, and I think that's a lot of reason why people still think he's a good hockey player. But I'll tell you what, it's a reach for me, but it's not baffling, and that's insane in its own right. That's what we're talking about, him as a second rounder in this draft.
It makes sense why you have Darlene on the team now, because you got Middlestat as a 1C. So
yeah,
you need somebody on the back end. What about the first pick in the third round?
With that pick, you know what? I'm gonna put a little veteran presence with Darlene. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Let's put Zach Bogosian on a pairing with him.
I had Bogey on my list. Was he ever good here? I think he was. I think the first 2 years here, he was a pretty good hockey player. It's insane how great he was in Atlanta, like as a young kid, and then came here. Got that little. He was getting lost in Atlanta. They hated him. He was too up and down. Came here. I feel like he really solidified himself there for a couple seasons. Then it all went downhill. What do you remember from his time here, Mira? It seemed like you laughed at Chris's pick there.
I was going to say that because I was not expecting. I mean, listen, he's a respectable enough hockey player. I mean, yeah, he had pedigree. The
number one pick, correct? Right? Number one pick. Was he
first overall? Was he? I don't think so.
No. Okay. No. I'll look that up as you go.
No, I think he was like fourth, maybe.
Third.
Okay. Yeah, third overall, 2000.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He was fine. I mean, those teams like the Jets locker room thing. The issues with who was it? The guy I didn't get along with in Winnipeg. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's fine pick. I'm not going blue line. I guess I'm just strategy.
Yeah, Chris is gonna take the added value from us fading
There's
defense.
like 3 good defensemen that ever played during the drought years.
It does get dry real quick. Well, I'm kind of happy this guy is still here. Underrated in the last few years. I mean, kind of a pain in the ass. The weirdo off the ice, and now injuries have kind of hurt his career. But man, when Evander Kane was on, that dude dominated games. I mean, he was such a good hockey player when he is on. His mental aspect is definitely lacking, and he's not always chimed in. But man, I thought Kane was such a good player. Right.
Good pick. He was pretty high on my list too. I think there is a glaring error by you two, though, to let this guy come all the way back to me. And maybe Chris is shaking his head now because he realizes who this player is. But Alex Tuck, I mean, how would he not go before Zach Bogosian in a drought draft? I mean, I don't know. You got to – he's – what was – I mean, you told us a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Louie, what he was like in goals. He's what, like second or third or something during this time period already?
Yeah. It's
I mean, he's been nailed since he's been here. It's a shame that the team hasn't been better, but he's done just fine. And again, there's that symmetry between the Eichel and Tuck thing. So the return and the person who was sent away for it. I'm certainly not going to take Peyton Krebs because I hate that guy. But not the guy, the player. I don't know anything about him as a person. But I also think my next pick is another steal at this position. Again, because at the height of where he was, other than the Ralph Kruger year, Jeff Skinner is going to be my next pick. He's going to pop a lot of goals on, and if we're talking prime Jeff Skinner years with this team, with Eichel, Reinhart, Tuck, and now Skinner. I mean, it's a pretty nice power play one group, and then you throw whoever the hell you want. Don't even need a defenseman. I'll tell you that. We're going to have 5 forwards out there on my team.
I mean, we're in the. I'm sorry. What was that? Who was that last pick? Right.
It was my 4th pick.
Yeah,
Skinner.
Who was it? Skinner. Yeah. Well, I think there's only one player, that has played for us during the drought that has won a league MVP, and he's going to be here in the 4th round. I'm going to take Taylor Hall and put him on the wing with Tage and watch him score 75 goals next season, even if I had him next year. 7.5 goals. Yeah, Taylor Hall. I mean, I know his stay here was short, and it didn't go as great here in Buffalo as it has elsewhere for him, but you can't deny his talent. I will go Taylor Hall. Chris, what shitty defenseman are you drafting?
Well, this is the part of the podcast where I say I feel a little bit sandbagged because I was having a no good day today, and I thought that we were just drafting like a lineup. So I didn't know that I needed a full team. So now I've wasted all these fucking picks on these humps because I thought I was just picking people that I liked. Because outside of that, there isn't really much going on with this team. But you know what I'm going to do now? All right, I'm going to get some offensive firepower. I want JJ Peterka. I want a young buck on the wings, putting up some points.
Peterka's good. Paterka needs to be up there. I to piggyback off of that before your next point is just, do you think it's recency bias? I have like 12 guys on the current roster of my top 34. And I don't know if that's because this is the best team we've had or if it's recency bias, but what are your thoughts there?
They score a lot now.
Yeah, that's true.
There were some brutal teams. There were some brutal teams in that, like, the tank years to even like 2019, 2020 season, where if they could score 2 goals a game, you were thankful for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I just had a name pop in my head. What was it, like Corey Crisciullo or something? Or what was that guy's name?
Not Conacher.
See? No, not Conacher. It was a different.
Not Carlo Koliakovo.
Nope, not him either. It's like it's one of those Kyle Crisciullo or Crisciullo.
Oh, I know exactly. Yeah, Crisciullo.
Yeah. Kyle Crisciullo.
Yeah, right. That guy played on the team in like 2013. Okay, and that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't think it is recency bias because those teams were very much by design.
I think Paterka very I think Paterka very much belongs early up on this list. So that's a good pick. And then your first pick with the 5th round?
Oh, well, now I feel fucking stupid.
I mean, you are, but you don't have
yeah.
To feel that way.
But you know what? Fuck it. I built it out this way. I want to protect my young guy. I want a little bit of grinding in the corner. Give me Jordan Greenway.
That's decent. I hate how much I like Greenway. If it was just if it wasn't year 14 of a drought, I'm like, I want this guy forever. I mean, the injuries obviously piling up, but that's a dude that if we ever make the playoffs, is gonna be the guy that like you're like, oh, he's a difference maker because he's gonna go out there and hit everything in sight. He's gonna kill penalties. He's gonna block 37 shots. Like, no, I really like Greenway as a player. It's just he's not exciting or flashy, but he is the type of guy you want on a playoff team, and one day we will be. I've wanted this guy the last 2 rounds. I almost took him, so I'm going to finally take him here. Forgotten, I believe, in all of this because he's been a while, but former captain Steve Ott brings everything you want on a good hockey team. Gritty, can score some goals, good penalty killer, leadership. I'll take Steve Ott and be ecstatic. I'm all forward so far. Me and Ryan are really going up high here with the forwards, but go ahead.
I'm realizing I'm building this team exactly like I used to build the teams in the GM mode in the NHL franchises, where I used to immediately ship off all of the 3rd and 4th line player, duster, grinder, defensive types for the young, exciting players. So with that said, I'm going to go with a player who I think is kind of winning on a technicality, kind of a technicality type thing here, but I'm going to go with Brandon Hagel. He was here for a minute. I think it counts.
No, I'm not counting it. He didn't play a game. Can't go. Can't count it.
There are pictures that are not AI generated of Brandon Hagel wearing a Buffalo Sabres jersey, and you tell me I cannot take him in a draft? I'm not. If Chris wants to fight back, the rule was that he did not have to play in a playoff game.
Let him have Brandon Hagel. Who cares? This isn't real.
I'm like, no, it doesn't. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna like put parentheses in the poll that I post online and be like, we know this doesn't count, but that's fine. Go ahead, Brandon Hagel. Cheater. Yeah, you're always fucking pulling some fucking sneaky shit, Ryan Vera. Always.
I'm sorry that I'm going to try to win anything that we're going to try to do here. I'm just not here to lose. Okay. am going to go with my next pick, Zach Benson. And this might be, I don't know if it's a reach or not, but
I don't think so
he
at all.
is really good. And I feel like it's very obvious that he's really good right now. So I'll take him, on the hope that he turns out to be like one of the next best Sabres players.
I'm going to be ecstatic here that you guys left the second best defenseman to go into the 6th round here,
nice.
and I am going to take Owen Power. Owen Power deserves to be taken here. He's got maybe I'm taking him a little bit on promise, but even his play so far still probably puts him into the top 5 defensemen in the Drought era. So I will take Owen Power and be ecstatic with it.
Well, good luck defending any of Chris's players in front of the net. Tell you what.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't even know anymore. I'm sorry. I prepared for this in a different way, and I don't feel like taking Robin Lanner right now.
We could we could cut it short after this round and continue next week if you would like more time to prep.
I didn't know that I would need to draft all these players.
I kind of like that. We can see if Chris can land the plane next week.
The plane is on fire on the tarmac right now.
We will end it after this pick, but we will make you wait, hold on. We will end it after this pick, but we are going to force you into one more off the wall pick as you frantically search rosters for the past 14 years.
Fuck both of you guys. Defense wins championships. Give me Brandon Montour.
Montour's good, though. Montour probably would have been higher than Bogosian on my list.
Yeah. I forgot that he played on the Sabres for a little while until just now.
But if you pair those two together, you got a little offense, a little bit of defense, one guy that's really fast, one guy that can't skate. They might be the perfect pairing. So,
magical time.
Let me just run through the team so far through 6. Chris has got Rasmus Dahlin, Middlestat, Bogosian, Peterka, Greenway, Montour. Lou's got Tage, Ryan O'Reilly, Evander Kane, Taylor Hall, Steve Ott, and Owen Power. And Ryan will never have a defenseman. Jack Eichel, Sam Reinhart, Alex Tuck, Jeff Skinner, Brandon Hagel, fucking idiot, and Zach Benson.
Let him have Brandon Hagel. I let him have Zach Benson.
Paul Hamilton's favorite player, Zach Benson, to round it off. So seeing that we did good, and this is going to only get better as the names get shittier. Maybe we'll break it into 3 weeks here because we just killed a lot of time with 6 rounds. But with that, this has been a really fun episode watching Chris struggle with the assignment, but also I cannot wait for any kind of reaction to the second round Casey Middlestat pick. But you love him, like you said. He was endearing to your heart, and that's all that matters. Sometimes players pick up on that from their coaches, you know.
Yeah.
For Ryan and Chris, I'm Louie G. You guys have a good night, and we will be back next week. See you then.